Who would win in a fight, Daredevil or Wolverine? In the dark streets of Hell's Kitchen, New York, Matt Murdock walked with senses as sharp as an invisible radar grid. He was Daredevil, the tireless protector, with the ability to sense every movement, every sound, every scent around him. Tonight, the air was heavier than ever. Matt sensed the presence of dark entities, demons representing the 7 deadly sins, unleashed from hell. They were not vague ghosts, they possessed people, turning them into vicious predators. Matt's radar sense vibrated every time a demon entered someone's body, creating chaotic ripples in the air. Matt stopped in a dank alley where yellow streetlights cast puddles. He heard the pounding heartbeat of a victim a few blocks away, mixed with the possessed man's maniacal laughter. It was the 3rd demon he had hunted this week. He plunged into the darkness, his red suit clinging to his body, his double-edged staff gleaming in the moonlight. The fight was swift. Matt dodged heavy punches, used his quick strength to lock his foe, then used a fatal blow to force the demon out. The dark entity emerged from the victim's body, a mass of black gas with glowing red eyes, representing the sin of greed. Matt whispered a prayer, then used a small cross hidden in his shirt to banish it back to the darkness. But his mission was not over. 4 more demons were roaming, possessing weak souls. Matt returned to his small apartment, where he lived under the guise of a blind lawyer. He sat at his desk, stroking an old Bible, pondering the origins of these entities. They were released by an ancient ritual, performed by a secretive sect on the outskirts of the city. Matt discovered this through his undercover investigations, thanks to his network of friends like Foggy Nelson, his close colleague at the law office. Foggy didn't know the whole truth about Daredevil, but he always provided valuable clues from strange cases. The next morning, Matt received a call from Karen Page, the office's beautiful and brave secretary. Her voice trembled over the phone. "Matt, something strange happened at the old bar near the Hudson River. Several bodies were found, and the police are blocking off the area. They say it was a massacre, but something is wrong. There are no traces of weapons, just terrible scratches." Matt sensed the anxiety in her voice, and his senses began to vibrate. He promised to check, then hung up. In his heart, he knew this could be the mark of another demon. He donned his Daredevil costume, threw himself out the window, jumped from rooftop to rooftop, and headed for the fateful bar. When he arrived, the scene that appeared before Matt's radar was a chaotic picture. Corpses were scattered on the rotting wooden floor, dried bloodstains under the flickering neon lights. The pungent smell of blood mixed with the smell of cheap alcohol and cigarette smoke. In the middle of the bar, a muscular figure sat, his back against the counter, a bottle of beer in his hand. It was Logan, also known as Wolverine, the mutant with an adamantium skeleton and superhuman healing ability. Matt sensed the presence of a dark entity inside him, a demon controlling that powerful body. Logan raised his head, his eyes bloodshot, and smiled a savage smile. Matt stood silently at the bar's entrance, the night wind blowing in from the Hudson River, a chill in its wake. His radar scanned the entire space, broken wooden tables, shattered bottles, and lifeless bodies with mortal wounds. Logan sat there, muscles rippling under his worn leather jacket, adamantium claws flashing as he clenched his fists. Matt could feel Logan's heart pounding, not a normal heartbeat, but the chaos of a possessed soul. The entity inside him was seething, radiating a mixture of rage and lust. "Who are you?" Logan growled, his voice hoarse like a wild animal's. Matt didn't answer right away, but walked slowly inside, his double-edged staff at the ready. He assumed the demon represented the sin of wrath, the animalistic rage that was exploding from Logan's body. But deep down, Matt knew this fight wouldn't be easy. Wolverine's powers were overwhelming, a healing factor that allowed him to recover from any wound, sharp claws that could tear through anything, and the endurance of a war machine. Matt stopped a few meters from Logan, the air tense as a string about to snap. "I feel it inside you," Matt said, his voice calm but firm. "The demon is controlling you. Let me help." Logan laughed loudly, standing up at breakneck speed, claws snapping out with a resounding snikt. He charged at Matt like a whirlwind, the first punch aimed straight at Daredevil's chest. Matt dodged with superhuman agility, flipping over Logan's head and landing on his back. He felt the wind from the punch sweep across his face, so powerful it could have knocked down a wall. The fight erupted. Logan spun around, claws waving, creating silver streaks in the dark air. Matt used his radar senses to predict every move, dodging and countering with punches that hit the weak spots. But every wound he inflicted on Logan's body healed instantly, the flesh sealing as if it had never been torn. Matt felt sweat pouring out under his mask, his heart pounding. He knew he couldn't beat Logan in a fight to the death. His stamina was limited, while Wolverine seemed immortal. Outside the bar, the police had cordoned off the area, their patrol car lights flashing red and blue. A young cop named Mike stood watching from a distance, his hand shaking with a gun. He had heard of Daredevil, the mysterious vigilante, but he had never witnessed a fight like this. Mike whispered into his walkie-talkie, "There are two strangers fighting inside. One has metal claws." But he didn't dare intervene. The atmosphere inside was too terrifying. Matt backed away, gasping for breath, as Logan lunged at him again. He leaped, claws slashing deep gashes into the wood. Matt rolled to the side, then used the bat to whack Logan in the knees, knocking him to his knees. But Logan sprang back up, growling, "Who do you think you are to interfere?" Matt felt the entity inside him laugh, an invisible laugh echoing in his head. It wasn't pure rage, something deeper, a violent desire rising. The air in the bar grew more and more stifling, the dust from the collisions flying everywhere. Matt could feel every speck of dust floating, every crack in the wooden floor spreading. Logan lunged at him with terrifying speed, his claws slashing horizontally at Matt's neck. Daredevil ducked, feeling the blade graze his scalp just millimeters away. He countered with a series of quick punches to Logan's chest, each one like a sledgehammer, but Wolverine just smirked, the wound healing instantly. Matt retreated to the bar, his back against the broken bottles. He knew he needed the advantage of the environment. Pure strength wasn't enough to win. Outside, police sirens echoed, but Matt focused entirely on the enemy before him. Logan leaped over the counter, his heavy body landing with a crack. "You're going to die here," he snarled, his eyes glowing red like hellfire. Matt could feel the entity inside manipulating Logan, turning him into a killing machine. The fight between Matt Murdock and Logan continued to rage on the wet streets near the Hudson River. Each swing of Wolverine's claws carried devastating power, tearing the air with a sharp screech. Matt, in his crimson Daredevil suit, moved like a ghost, his radar scanning Logan's every move, predicting attacks before they happened. But the pressure from Wolverine's relentless persistence made Matt feel his strength slowly draining. Sweat ran down under his mask, mixing with blood from the wound on his shoulder. Logan lunged forward, his adamantium claws flashing like death blades, aimed straight at Matt's chest. Daredevil flipped sideways, landing on a metal dumpster, the impact ringing loudly. He felt the vibration of the metal under his feet. The smell of rust and garbage filled his nose. Logan didn't stop. He jumped on the dumpster, his claws slashing down, tearing the steel like paper. Matt jumped back, rolling on the pavement, feeling the small pebbles crunch under his back. He stood up, the double-bladed staff spinning in his hand, ready to fight. "You can't win," Logan roared, but the voice wasn't entirely his own. The entity inside, the demon in control, twisted Logan's voice into a hoarse, deathly laugh. Matt sensed the chaos ripple from the entity, not just anger but something deeper, a seething, violent lust. He realized the demon wasn't just manipulating Logan, it was trying to stir up the dark corners of his own soul, the desire to fight, the desire to prove himself. Matt backed away, luring Logan toward a narrow alley where the damp brick walls smelled of mold and sewage. He needed the tight space to limit Wolverine's mobility. Logan lunged into the alley, claws scraping the walls, leaving deep scratches. Matt jumped up, grabbed a hanging pipe, and delivered a spinning kick to Logan's head. Wolverine staggered, but a second later, he snarled and jumped back up, his body healing instantly. "You're just postponing death," Logan yelled, his red eyes glowing in the darkness. In the distance, young Officer Mike stood behind the patrol car, his hand tightening on his gun. He wanted to intervene, but the fear of the fight made him hesitate. Mike whispered into the radio, "They're moving into the alley. I can't see clearly, but God, they're not normal people." His superior ordered him to stay put, and Mike could only watch, his heart pounding. In the alley, Matt felt his heart rate slow, not from fatigue, but from absolute concentration. He remembered the teachings of Stick, the blind teacher who had trained him since childhood. Strength isn't everything. The strongest have weaknesses. Matt scanned his radar senses, noticing a large water pipe running along the wall. The pressure inside was vibrating slightly. He had a daring idea. He pretended to lose his balance, staggering back, luring Logan forward. Wolverine, manipulated by the demon, did not realize the trap. He rushed forward, claws raised. Matt turned around, using his stick to stab the water pipe. A high-pressure stream of water sprayed out, strong as a spear, hitting Logan straight in the chest. Wolverine was pushed back, falling into a puddle on the ground. Matt did not stop. He jumped forward, using all his strength to push Logan to the ground, letting the water continue to pour on him. The cold water penetrated Logan's leather jacket, calming the burning rage. Matt felt the entity inside begin to waver, as if the water was weakening it. "You don't belong here," Matt shouted, his voice echoing in the alley. He tightened his grip on Logan's neck, not to kill but to force the demon to reveal himself. Under the pressure of the water and Matt's iron will, the entity began to rise, a mass of black gas escaping from Logan's mouth, its golden eyes glowing with anger. It screamed, but its voice faded, fading into the air like mist. Logan stopped struggling, his body relaxing. Matt pulled him out of the puddle, checking his pulse. Wolverine coughed, water pouring from his mouth. His eyes returned to normal, the red glow gone. "Damn," Logan muttered, his voice hoarse. Again. Matt sat down beside him, panting, his wet clothes clinging to his body. The police had cordoned off the area, their patrol car lights flashing red and blue, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Mike, the young cop, approached but was deterred by Logan's icy glare. The two men sat down at the bar, Logan reaching for the remaining bottle of whiskey, pouring 2 full glasses. "You did well, lawyer," Logan said, his voice tinged with sarcasm but also with respect. Matt smiled faintly, sipping the whiskey, feeling the hot liquid slide down his throat. "It's not anger," Matt said, his voice low. "That demon, it's lust. Violent lust. A thirst for destruction." Logan nodded, unsurprised. "I've encountered all sorts of evil in my life. Demons, witches, even goddamn gods. But this, it's stronger than I thought." He told of previous possessions, from ancient tribal rituals to crazy science experiments. Matt listened, his radar still active, scanning Logan's every move to make sure the demon was no longer lurking. Karen Page appeared at the bar's entrance, her blonde hair tousled by the night wind. She ran to Matt, her eyes full of concern. "Are you okay, Matt? I heard about the massacre." Her voice was shaky, but still had the resilience Matt always admired. He put a hand on her shoulder, gently reassuring her. "I'm okay, Karen, it's just been a long night." Logan glanced at them, smirking. "She's got guts. Keep her close, lawyer." Karen blushed, but she quickly regained her composure, asking Matt about what had happened. Matt briefly told her about the demon in the fight, avoiding mentioning his identity as Daredevil. Karen nodded, but her eyes showed she knew he was hiding something. She didn't press, just said, "Be careful, Matt. This city is going crazy." Logan stood up and patted Matt on the shoulder. "If you need help, just call. I owe you a life." He left, his short figure disappearing into the night. Matt stood with Karen, the neon light illuminating his face, highlighting the bruises under his mask. He could feel her heartbeat, steady but anxious. "I have to keep going, Karen," he said. "There are 4 more demons out there." Karen took his hand and squeezed it gently. "I know, but you're not alone, Matt. Don't forget that."